What's up, y'all? This is Q1. I am back with another video. I am back with All the Queen's Men, Season 4, Episode 5, Family Ties. Before I start, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And please click the notification bell button so you can be notified in my next video. So, so the episode picks back up with Amp's mom showing up at his house unannounced. Amp is mad at his mom for disowning him. And then he kicks her out, just like that. So we get to Blue's house. Blue is having a bad dream, and her PTSD is actually messing with her. She wakes up, has the gun in her hands, pointing the gun, and when she actually really come to, she picks up the phone and call Williams to get the number to a therapist to talk to someone. So Madam is at the restaurant with Tommy, and I realized that the restaurant is called Maddie B's, and that's their restaurant. So she's looking. She asks Tommy, "Where's her prescription from the doctor?" Tommy tells her that it's a no, but she did make sure that she had some pills for a while. Um, she tells Tommy that she doesn't really need the doctor no more. She needs a new doctor, and that Dr. Fong is unnecessary. So y'all know what that means. So y'all, Amp's mom shows up at the restaurant and sees Madam. And from the looks of it, Madam isn't too happy to see her as well. We find out that Amp's mom is the one that's been calling Madam from that blocked number. Um, so apparently Amp's mom is the reason why the feds locked their dad up. And also his mom is now the new owner of the restaurant Maddie B's. That was the restaurant that we've been seeing Madam in these past couple episodes. She is at it was written up in their father's will. I was like, oh, okay. So in the next scene, we see Tandy celebrating with Face, and she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited! I'm so happy!" And Face is just like, "I finally can get my card." When I tell you, he is a gigolo and a user and a loser, if I ain't never seen it. And yes, Face is absolutely a F boy and a user. Um, so she was like, "I'm gonna get your car." He was like, "Well, it was just too much of that to me. I don't even know. I mean, I know why she have him there, but at this point, he can go." Anyway, concierge actually shows up at the restaurant. He talks to Madam and he tells her he's looking for his Kokiana. And so she was like, "Okay, I'll give you your Kokiana," and she did. So Madam goes over to Tandy's house, asking Tandy to give her the plot of the land next to Maddie B's, and to declare it eminent domain so she can have it. So Tandy was like, "I really don't know what you're talking about." And Madam was like, "Babe, at this point, I ain't trying to hear that. No way, no how. Get it done. Point blank, Andy, period." So we get back to Amp's uh, Amp's house, and Dime checks in on Amp. He tells Dime that he's fine, and Dime tells him, "She's your mom. You only get one mother." And Amp is like, he's not going to let his mom come into his life and turn his world upside down. Amp tells Dime that it's messed up, um, how his mom treated him. And I'm going to say this, and I think we really need to stop saying to people, "Oh, you only get one mother, you only get one father, they're your mom, they're your dad." Well, you only get one of me. So that doesn't, if somebody does something wrong to you, that doesn't mean I have to, because they're whoever their position is in my life, I have to just all out give them, respect or forgiveness. Or even if it's just something small as being cordial. If you hurt me, I don't want you around me. I have to protect myself. I have to protect my peace. I do not agree with, oh, that's your mom, that's still your dad. No, no, no. You have caused pain in my life. And because you've caused pain in my life, I no longer want you around me. And that is just as simple as that. So Amp then tells Dime what happened. He said when he was locked up, his father said he was a stain and he didn't want anything to do with him. And so we see that Amp has internalized this entire situation. Amp said his father was very controlling. And so Amp also tells Dime that his father told his mom to cut him off, and she did. And from that day, Amp said his mom abandoned him. So he also, and Dime at this moment apologizes to Amp. Amp also says he used to write letters, and make fun. I mean, and called them with no response. So Dime asks Amp, have he thought about forgiving her? And it's not for him. It's not for them. It's for him. And so Amp was like, I want to reserve this soft spot for you. And Dime suggests that M shows a little grace for his mom because moms are important. No, Dime, your mother is important. She is not to him. Like I think in that moment I saw myself in Dime trying to force some things with people that shouldn't have been forced. And when somebody says no, that is just their answer. It is what it is. Don't push it. I have learned not to push it. I have learned to just let it go. I don't even ask about it unless somebody comes and decide they want to talk to me about something. So I get it. But I get what Dime was doing. I do. I get what Dime was doing. But mm-mm. um so Renee, that's the weird lady, she stops over at Midnight's house and lets him know what her fantasy is. And y'all, her fantasy seems to be really dark. And I was just like, what happened to her? To me, she's playing this shy role and it's almost childlike to me. And she almost seems even untrustworthy to me as well. She could. I always think that everybody who comes on has an angle. I do sometimes think that anybody can work for concierge, just like that lady from last episode came in with the flashlight. He paid somebody to get it. So to me, I don't trust it. But even if it's if she is trustworthy, she's very dark. But she tries to hide it with that I'm so shy, I'm so bashful type energy, and that is disturbing to me. Um, so Blue is meeting with the therapist, and Blue tells her she's having bad dreams about what happened in Afghanistan. She says she keeps seeing her military mate stepping on a landmine and died right in front of her. So the therapist asks what is causing this. Work and I'm sorry, Blue says that work is triggering her memory. And so the therapist actually wants to know more about her work, but of course Blue can't tell her about her work, so Blue has to put it in simple, you know, more subtle terms. Have to explain it a little more subtle. Um, but y'all, we find out Blue's name is Belinda, but I'm not gonna call her Belinda. Okay, I'm gonna call her Blue. So Fuego read the autopsy report on Sandra. So apparently, Sandra was shot. She had a gunshot wound. She had blunt force trauma to the head, and she was assaulted. And at this point, Fuego mad, so somebody's got to pay. So I don't know if he gonna go up at Madam. I don't know, but we'll see this play out. I will say this: I really believe one of them ain't gonna make it. Now I don't know if it's gonna be one of the dancers. I know it's gonna Madam gonna be here. I don't know who it's gonna be, but I don't know. I hope not. I especially the dancers, but we'll see. So y'all, Carla, Madam must have called Carla, because Carla showed up at Madam's house acting real ghetto, acting real Ronnie like. If you know, you know. So Madam tells Carla Tony showed up, which is Amp's mom. Her name is Tony. And she tell Carla that she owns Maddie B's now. And Carla really at this point just wanna unalive her. And I was like, oh wow. So in the next scene, Doc goes into Madam's office, and he tells Madam that that shirt wasn't the right shirt. And so Madam is pissed. Doc says that it wasn't his fault. And I was like, Doc, you let the op in your house. You let the op in your house because you was mad at me because we had our wires crossed. And you decided to let the op in your house. And because you let the op because you let that op in your house, she stole that shirt. I'm disappointed in you, but you still my man, my man, my man. Okay. So we see Rayshon. First of all, we saw Face, Midnight, and D working out in the gym. That gym that they're always at. So Rayshon and the amateur, I forgot his name. They came into the gym and they see Midnight, Face, and D. And so the amateur is really too excited to see Face. Now, these are the two things I think about the amateur. It's either he actually likes Face, like really like him, seem real stalkery like, or he could be Miss Patty's brother. I don't know. Her son, her brother, because I didn't know how old Miss Patty was. And if you don't remember, Miss Patty was the one who was sponsoring Face. And then he didn't want to really deal with her no more. So she got mad. She tried to call the cops on him. And so he pushed her and she fell out the window. That was season 1 or 2. Anyway, so we get Lola in Madam's office, and she's at this point begging Madam to let her try it again. Madam was like, no, I'm gonna get somebody else to do it. I was like, girl, you lucky you still have your life. So Madam has Blue to escort her out. And so we see Detective Davis at the club harassing Madam. Now I found it kind of odd to see Detective Davis downstairs. Meanwhile, Lola is upstairs. So I don't know. So Trouble, we get to the next scene. Trouble got an attitude. He taking everything, got this misplaced anger with Rashawn because he unalived what's his name? He went ahead and unalived Champ. And so Rashawn was asking the right questions. Where's Champ? What are you doing? Why are you mad? And I just don't like the way Trouble treats Rashawn. But that's how the men at Eden treat, except for Fuego and Doc. I think Doc, and Big D. Um, they treat the amateurs terribly. So Trouble goes into her locker, and that you know what, she get a bag of that Coquiana and do her thing. So in the next scene we get to the locker room with Doc and Midnight. And I just really would like all of y'all to point out to all of y'all how fine Doc is and how that is my boo. Okay. And if I see him one day, I am going to take a picture with him and I'm going to hug him. Okay. So I'm going to go to Atlanta, find Doc, not stalk. I'm going to find Doc because I love him. And I'm going to take a picture with him because he is just, and y'all, those men be traveling different places. I want to say they came out here to Dallas, but I wasn't able to go. But honey, the next time I see him, I hear he's coming here, I'm going to go see him. Anyway, So DA Roz shows up at Tandy's house and she asks Roz about the plot next to Maddie Beats. And so Roz is actually asking her the right questions, like, why do you want to know about that? Isn't that Madam's place? So she know that Tandy is up to something, and whatever it is, it's for Madam. So this is my favorite. This is my favorite part. The men of Eden perform, and y'all, I really hope that y'all watch this episode, because the way I would have liked to been homegirl, I would have been like, mm, 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 mm. I, listen, I don't know. I guess in my Jocelyn Hernandez voice, choreograph. How did she say that? Choreograph. I don't know. This whole, I mean, they were boom, 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 pow, pow. I'm sorry, y'all. That really made my moment. Y'all really have to forgive me. I'm really a fun person, okay? So so while they're dancing with the, I mean, they just bow, bow, body just look like. So while they dancing in a scene, Midnight tell Face, the new dude looking at you like he got a crush on you. I mean, he was just staring at Face like, and I was like, why are you so in tune with this man like that? Because you done grabbed his drawers last week. You grabbed his drawers last week out of his locker, but whatever. So Trouble come out of the locker room high as a Cooter Brown, and Blue looks at well, no, Trouble grabs onto this lady, real disrespectful, real rude, calling the ladies the B word, calling them out of it, just being hella disrespectful. And so at this point, Blue notices Trouble is high, and she tells him to get herself together before Madam finds out. And so she was about to touch on Blue. When I say you, Blue bent her like a pretzel. Don't play with me. Go play with your mama, but don't play with me. I was here for Blue. I love Blue. I love Blue. Okay, I love Blue. Anyway, so Tommy, we get to Dr. Fong's office, and at this point, Tommy unalives Dr. Fong. Madam, we found out that when Tommy was, packaging up those drugs, he laced them with something. But she gave them back to concierge, and he was, they was dishing them out, and then come to find out, the news said a couple people have died from the drugs, and that was her. So, concierge peeped that she did something to the drugs. So at this point, Lola is at we back at the police station. Lola is sitting there in the interrogation room, look like, and I thought she was looking real crazy. And so she's being questioned by Detective Davis, and Detective Davis pulls some stuff out, be like, what was missing, that shirt missing, but you already know that. And then we find out, now I hope I'm wrong, but we find out the whole time Lola is playing Madam. And I was like, I know you lying to me. Because when Madam find out, you out of there, honey. I mean, count your count your days. Count your days. Well, this where the episode ends. I will absolutely come back with another one. So